Good evening and welcome to round 3 of the PSGL GT Constructors Challenge, live from the iconic Barcelona circuit. I am your commentator and host for the evening, H Racing Green, also known as Harry. I am once again solo in the commentary box, taking a presiding glance over the proceedings this evening. As I said, we come live from the iconic Interlagos circuit in Brazil, as we face round 3 of what has already turned out to be an extremely intriguing season of Constructors Challenge. Those of you who have been with us for the first 2 rounds may notice a difference, which is part of the unique appeal of Constructors Challenge. We are of course now in the Group 4 cars for this round, and indeed the next one. The Constructors Challenge taking on a format similar to the official manufacturer series, although of course as advertised with less nonsense. CRG Jamie out on the track at the moment as we follow him around in the practice session before qualifying. It's going to be interesting to see in this Group 4 class how drivers like Jamie in the 2-wheel drive cars do fare. Group 4 of course notoriously very favourable for the 4-wheel drive cars, so those in the well, pretty much everything, the GTR, the Genesis, the Subaru, all of those, it's all much more in favour of those over the 2-wheel drive cars such as the BMW and the Toyota, but we can see whether the drivers will be able to overcome those problems. Taking a look at the standings coming into this round, it is Hasnain, pictured on screen now, who leads the way with a 2nd place on a fastest lap and a 3rd to take a 1-point lead over CRG Jamie, who is in 2nd, just a point behind that fastest lap, making all the difference at the moment. It's ERL Cunning in 3rd with the singular victory in the first round which he attended, and then Maxim Glushko, who of course stepped in for round 2, has become a full-time driver since but is unfortunately unavailable for this round. He is in 4th place. Southern Ninja Snake in 5th, Kepler 6th, it's Javi in 7th, Jungo in 8th, Smalley in 9th, and Yassi Perez with his lone appearance so far rounding out the top 10. It looks like if the attendance issues continue to arise for Cunning that he may well struggle to compete for this title. So it's Hasnain and Jamie who'll be going head to head in this round, I feel, to be in with a shout of taking the lead heading into round 4 next week. If Maxim does return next week, he may be in with a shout if his dominant form continues after winning by a country mile last time, really demonstrated his class. And when he does return, I do wonder if we'll see that again. I'm going to step away for a moment. We'll await the beginning of qualifying, and we'll just enjoy these beautiful cars around this beautiful circuit. Here we are then, welcome back. It is qualifying underway for round 3 of the Constructors Challenge. We head out into a sunny Interlagos, and we will see he'll be starting from the front row. and take that coveted pole position for the hour-long race that is to follow. We're going to see if we can switch to an outside view. We can. Get those race graphics up, and of course everyone on the soft tyre. As a reminder, there is no need to use any harder compound. You don't have to start on your qualifying tyre. You can start whichever tyre you like. So it's everyone on the softs, flat out as fast as they can for 5 minutes. With a shorter lap here, they may just squeeze in the 3 flying laps. And of course, they have to deal with some tyre wear. It's only 1 times in the qualifying session to allow the drivers to absolutely maximise their pace. And of course, no fuel burning. Hateful fuel burning technique is not possible. We turn the fuel off for qualifying and just let the drivers get on with it. Jerk and go there in that beautiful Gently, the Genesis with the Bentley markings in the iconic Margarita Motorsports livery, bouncing about there, finding the right gear. As here we go then, out to the start of the lap. We're going to ride on board with the man who is second in the championship, CRG Jamie. He is going to pick up a lovely tow along the finish straight here from Simon Nunestake. Opts not to follow him up to the high line, but has named Stablemate in the purple Genesis cars is certainly going to give him a helping hand, as he's a little bit deep on the brakes. Does manage to get it back for a late apex through turn 2. You can cut that a lot on that curb there, but if you stray too far inside, you will pick up a penalty. Round the flat out left-hander of turn 3 and then down towards turns 4, braking just after 100 metres down into 3rd gear, 4th gear, yeah, third gear. He's been a little bit indecisive through the apex there, through 5, which isn't really a corner, and up the hill into 6 and 7. Through again, probably can take a little bit more curb there on the inside, but considering he will have the tow as well, this may be the best lap he can put in the session. The freshest tyres, good track position behind another car, executes that very nicely through this left-hander, easy to run wide, just about uses the curb to hook the car inside, then brake in for the final corner. You want to take that, get on the power as early as possible, use all the exit. He just about does that. Ninja Snake, of course, picking up the tow off of Ramirez at the very front of the field. Flying now along the pit straight towards the line, takes the shortest route just about. Ramirez with a 39 flat and Jamie with a 37.8. Smalley Bulls comes through with a 37.5, so Smalley takes provisional pole after the first few drivers have finished their laps. What can the championship leader do? I believe he's at the back of the field. There he comes. He's going to have no tow. Along here, he takes the shortest line and he sets a 37.1. A fantastic lap from him with no tow. No tow, but obviously no dirty air either. So that is a solid first effort from the championship leader, as he is looking feisty. And again, as I said, he has got a 4-wheel drive car. It's impressive from Smalley. He's managed to do that in a 2-wheel drive car in the Supra. Very impressive indeed. He's going to run wide there. I don't know whether that might earn him a penalty. Seems to have gotten away with it for now. Ninja Snake there. He is following Ramirez in the GTR. Ramirez gets a little bit out of shape. He's just going to run wide, just going to let the purple car through. A little bit wide there from Ninja Snake, but he is 2/10 under his own best, so good end to the lap. Could put him second here, and it could be a purple front row lockout. Javi now coming through the final second. iRunner has joined the room. I don't know actually if he's going to be able to join the race, to be fair. I think he's might be a little bit late, but he may be able to start from the back. It is the final lap, as Ninja Snake does go second. Jamie can only manage 4th place, a 37.7, and that may well be beaten here. Jamie 9 million goes there to 6th place as Avi overtakes him at the end there by just 19 thousandths of a second and just 22 thousandths between CRG Jamie and Javi. So very close there in the middle. It's Smalley did manage to pick up a penalty. I don't know how he's managed that, but no improvement on his second lap. And along comes Hasnain, who clearly backed out of his final run. So it is Hasnain on pole from his stablemate, his teammate, not that there really are teams. Solid, Ninja Snake, Smalley, Jamie, Javi completes the top 5. We'll get a full results rundown in just a second. But a frantic qualifying session, and these 5 minutes qualifying sessions are so short. But really have to keep your eyes peeled for all the action going on, even with just 11 cars on the grid for this round. Something to note there in the top right hand corner, the wind speed. It is a heavy, it'd be a tailwind now coming out of turn 4, which is something could be worth noting. Drivers trying to get on the power early could force them wide onto some pretty slippy AstroTurf and an easy place to pick up a penalty. Remains to be seen whether that will stay for the race. We'll have to see. Drivers just cruise around now at the end of the session, waiting for the timer to tick down, because it's because Ramirez is in the pits. There we go. Ironman has left. He's decided that he won't be participating, even though I'm sure we could have managed to arrange something for him. But as we wait for the drivers to select their tyres, we'll take a break, and we'll be back shortly with the full 36 laps around Interlagos. Here we are then, we're counting down to the beginning of this 36 lap race in the Group 4 cars around Interlagos. No adverse weather scheduled, but as you can see the wind direction has changed. We're heading now for a tailwind down the front straight. We're going to be stuck with this terrible onboard camera. Oh no, there we go, we can get the offboard one, here we go. The lights are on. We're building up. We're going to look back as there's a long hold at the lights, but we are away. The four-wheel drive cars predictably get an absolute flyer compared to the two Supras as we head down in towards turn 1. Here's the two purple cars. What a start from Jamie. 9 million in the Rainbow GTR as he goes down the inside and into third place. Can he hold onto that from Smalley? No, he cannot, as he drops back to 4th. The two purple Genesis cars have made an absolute break for it. We're going to switch briefly out and back in again to get to the rest of the action. There we go as they come down into turn number 4. It's the two GTRs going side by side as Javi's having a look down the inside of Jamie. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. The McLaren of Kepler has forced his way up into 6th place, and that's relegated CRG Jamie down to 7th. It's the Porsche of Damamo in 8th place, followed by Juttengo, then Ramirez and Izu 9. But a lightning start from the two at the front. It is Ninja Snake 1.1 seconds behind Hasnain, who has got an absolute flyer on the racing medium tyres, so he's gone slightly aggressive at the start, trying to utilise some of the pace you get from the medium tyres, while his teammate has gone for the hards, and we will see that pace deficit as further down the field it's all action as we've got Jamie 9 million. He's just about holding off the Supra of CRG Jamie, who is in turn being hounded by the McLaren of Capra a little bit deep into that corner, just misjudged his braking, possibly blocked by the enormous GTR in his direct sight line. We've got the Porsche of Diogo, who is really pushing on after the Italian. But he looks like he may be coming under pressure from the Genesis behind him. Here comes CRG Jamie, then he's having a look. No, it's Kepler who's having a look down the inside. That is going to get pretty tight into there. He's just about avoided any contact, and Jamie holds on to the position through turn 2. It's so hard to complete a move through that switchback, but he will have the toe now as we head down towards turn 4. We're going to ride on board as he pulls out of the slipstream, but the Toyota in front does have slipstream from the GTR. Is he going to have a go down the inside? He is. He's going to brake late. He's going to move, and can he get in front? Yes, he can, but Jamie on the switchback. Here he comes as they head up the hill towards the reverse section of the circuit. The inside line is possibly the favourable one here, but can Jamie hang around the outside? It's a little bit wide. I think there was a touch of contact as both drivers went full commitment into there. It's still side by side through into the right hander. Now Jamie's going to have the inside line for the next section of the circuit. Can he get the move done finally after half a lap's worth of battling? Yes, he can. He is through. Meanwhile, further up the field, you just see there, I believe Smalley's on medium tyres, and he has breezed past Solid already, and he is going to be hunting down Hasdane. So after a pretty lacklustre first round at St. Croix, Smalley is absolutely coming alive. Of course, a driver with an F1 game background, and the last 2 circuits have been F1 staples, so just that extra bit of circuit knowledge just gives him the edge perhaps over a circuit he had never faced before. CRG Jamie on his hard tyres. His next target is the GTR of Jamie 9 million, and this is going to be an interesting one. Again, these he's racing a 2-wheel drive car with the McLaren, but racing against 4-wheel drive in the Group 4 is a whole nother situation. Into turn 1 he goes. He's used a nice amount of curve through the right-hander. Gets a good line, but he's a little bit wide to build too early on the power. Can he use the curve to hook himself back in? Yes, he can, just about. Jamie does have the superior exit. He is on the hard tyre as well, is Jamie 9 million, so we'll wait. It's a level playing field in that regard. So they head into turn 4. Looking a bit further back, Jungo has come through on Diogo, who's dropping back. Ramirez now at the back. Jungo up into 8th place. Let's drop back to take a look at him. He is also on the hard tyre, so quite a few takers for the Haas looking further through the field. As oh my word, Diogo forces his way through on the Nissan. Again, this is looking like a hot spot for battling. We're trying to pick out where the 46 branded Nissan is. He has made his way through, and that is Ramirez relegated to P11. Hasdane at the front. He is flying his fastest middle sector. He's 3/10 underneath his own personal best, a little bit wide at the final corner, but that won't matter to him too much. The 2 racing mediums then seem to be the only takers for the mediums, have taken a 3-second gap over the next car. Solid Ninja Snake on his hard tyre. He won't mind that too much. He'll be confident in his strategy and where he is lined up at the moment. Further down, it's Javi and CLG Jamie there in 5th. Dispatched Jamie 9 million, who is now coming under pressure from Keplero. Up the inside goes the Italian in the McLaren. Can he get it done? It's the switchback through turn 2, and he is going to have the inside line. These camera angles are atrocious. We're going to go through turn 3. We're right on board with them because it's impossible to track what's going on from the external camera. Heading down into turn 4, this McLaren is no slouch in a straight line, as you can see. I mean, it's not even a headwind, it's sort of a crosswind through there. Now into the what is the tailwind now. Jamie's managed to hold it around the outside. That 4-wheel drive power, you can just plant your foot and the thing will live with it. It's really impressive. Smalley's actually set the fastest lap on that previous go round, so he is certainly showing off his pace early on in this race, and we've got a bit of a train starting to form behind Jamie now with all this battling as well. Few cars behind looking to make a move. Izu's made his way up into P9 as Jungo in the 4-wheel drive car looking to take advantage of that extra agility through the middle sector. Can he make anything work at the moment? Capro seems to get a little bit caught on the inside curb. He's going to look to the outside of I forget what the corners are called, I'm afraid. And is he going to make that work? Surely not. He's going to keep it all the way around the outside of the final corner. He's going to try and get all the power. And what a move that is from Capro, all the way around the outside of the final sector of the lap. That is seriously impressive. But now he's got to think about defending, as there's a train of 3 cars in the slipstream behind him. And he's going to be coming under a lot of pressure as we head into the first sector across the line. Jamie pulls out to the outside, Izu pulls to the inside, Izu up the inside of Jut and Go, he gets that one done. And now it is Jamie 9 Million who is looking all over the back of the McLaren, but I think that may well be that move sealed. I think the straight line speed and that just extra little bit of pace that Kepler has got may just help him pull away, and hopefully he may try and bridge that gap to the top 5. Looking a little bit further up the field, we have got CRG Jamie all over the back of Javi now, the gap under a second, so he'll be picking up a nice tow. He's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel left after 5 laps, so easy in terms of fuel. Quite a straightforward one really there. 20 laps on a tank should see only 1 fuel stop required in this race, indicating perhaps even a 1 stop for tyres as well. Kepler has managed to get himself a 1.5 second penalty. I did mention about turn 4, and I think that may have been where that penalty had come from. Either that or the outside of turn 6. They're the 2 sort of hotspots for picking up penalties on this circuit, so he will be forced to slow down, and all that hard work of going around the outside is going to come to an end. But either way, it still be a valiant effort. He's going to be forced to slow down. I'm not entirely sure where the line is. I think it's running up the hill, which again is a brutal place for it. But he will be forced to serve that in a second, and we'll see where that drops him down to. It's going to be last, I think, really, or close to it anyway. CRG Jamie, can he get close to the back of the Argentine driver in the Nissan GTR? One of 3 on the grid, of course, a very favourable, very popular choice. A little bit wide from him through there, though. It's going to compromise his exit and could give an opening to the legendary Welshman, the man with more titles on every game than you can shake a stick at. A man who's been around PSGL for so long, and certainly he's going to try and use all of that experience, his favourite word, experience, to overtake the GTR in front of him. Further ahead, I can just see the very striking orange of Smalley. He doesn't appear to be making too many inroads on the leader Hasnain, who's looking for his first win of the season. Indeed, it's his first win since season 1, I do believe. I'm not sure he won either in season 2 or in the Fezerfest, but someone may be able to correct me on that, because while I was driving, I wasn't really paying much attention to who was winning, because I wasn't, which of course was not ideal. So I'm now in the commentary box. Through this left-hander he goes. This is extremely close now for Jamie. He's surely going to feel like he's got a good chance here as they head up the hill next towards the start-finish line. Gets a nice line through there, and Javi is really feeling the pressure. He's a little bit wide, he's braking a bit too late, it's compromising his exits. Now towards the line, has the Supra got the straight line speed? That's sort of another question. Can he actually get close enough to make a move? I mean, the GTR also is no layabout in a straight line. Great consistency from Jamie, even when he's following. The lap times there on the right hand side, 40.3, a 39.9, a 40.2, and then a 40.1, even when he's tucked right up the rear wing of the car in front. But no doing on this lap. So he's going to have to wait another lap before he can attempt a move. As Javi sets a fastest first sector of his own, also with good consistency. Not quite as quick as the car behind him, but if he's just quick enough to keep him behind, that is all that matters. Solid Ninja Snake up ahead here, also with good consistency. The gap sort of staying pretty solid around 3 seconds, and then 6.7 to the medium runners in front. Of course, 25% per tyre on the medium and the hard, so 9 laps is the requirement. I'm sure all the drivers will be doing more than that on both sets, depending on the life at the time. I mean, look at the medium, only half gone really on the front after 7 laps. 14 laps before they're completely gone makes perhaps a lengthy hard stint a viable option. Can come back again at the battle for 4th place. It's the exit. If you look at the delta on the left hand side, the Nissan with that 4-wheel drive just jumps away, just gets away a little bit, and with all the traction from having the front wheels at his disposal, he's just managing to keep the Toyota driver at bay. We're going to move back towards this train. We've got a bit of a gap between IZ9 and Jut and Go, but then we've got Kepero, who's dropped all the way back to 10th. As I said, with that penalty, he has not he's not fared well as a result of that, and all his hard work is undone. He's going to have to come back through the field. That's been a problem for him in the past. Staying clean, just avoiding those penalties that can be so easy to get on this game and can be so damaging. Right in the slipstream of the GTR in front of him, and look at that straight line speed. This is what I'm talking about. That McLaren has some serious pace on the straights. He's going to go down the inside. He's gone for the late downshift. Can the Nissan get up the inside? He can, with that additional traction from the 4-wheel drive. He's going to retake that position, but now he will be on the inside as they head up to the next corner, but he's not quite close enough for now, and he's going to have to wait perhaps another couple of corners before he can get that move done. Look at Jamie again. He's still not close enough, but Solid Ninja Snake is coming into view. Half a second taken. Well, it was half a second, nearly half a second taken out of the purple Genesis in 3rd place by Javi in the Nissan, and Jamie now is right up behind him. He's a little bit wide. He's got to get on that power early. I think he's trying to copy Javi's line to try and stay as close to him as possible, and it may just have worked on this occasion. The gap now 3/10, and it is coming down. He's not losing as much on the exit, and that is going to help him all the way down towards the end of the straight. We're going to stay on board because the external cameras are borderline unwatchable. Here we go then. Can he get close enough? No, he's only gaining a 10th. Even with the slipstream, he can only pick up a 10th in a straight line. It must be so frustrating to be stuck behind him and just not really able to do anything, despite the fact that you'd arguably say he probably would be faster right now if he could be in front, but just not quite got the legs on that. So he again will have to wait another lap, and all the while he's now 15 seconds behind the leader. Obviously the leader on the medium tyre, but will he be able to make up that time on the second stint? Potentially say it's unlikely. Again, we'll go bang on about 4-wheel drive all night, but 4-wheel drive is the meta. It is the favourite in World Series itself, in the daily races, in absolutely everything. I don't understand why it's like it. It's been like it pretty much since the game released, and they just have never fixed it. So it's maybe one day we'll get a balance of performance change that takes the 4-wheel drive meta out, but for now this is what we're dealing with, and this is what the drivers will have to deal with as well. There were enough 4-wheel drive cars to go around, and some opted against it, so that was their decision. We'll take a look at a couple of comments on the stream. I'll try and see if we can see everything that's going on, as we've got IZ9 on the back of Jamie 9 million. Extremely quite long gears on the M4 GT4 there. And again, the straight line speed, he's pulling away is the Nissan driver, despite the slipstream of the BMW. Which is just again testimony to how much of a task it is for Jamie further up the field to try and make an overtake in what isn't a slow Supra. So tall order for IZ9 to be able to slipstream past the Nissan. He's going to have to find something inventive in the corners. Looking through their fuel, yeah. There goes his, there was a penalty for him, I think, there, or not entirely sure what happened there. Is he lifting and coasting? I'm not sure what went on there. He just lost his, pulled out the throttle. Fair enough, bit of lift and coast, save a bit of fuel, as Jamie is closing in again on the Nissan, but will he have the legs or the aggression to get past? Not entirely sure. It is looking like about 19 laps, I think, for fuel, looking based on the gauge. I think 19, some drivers could be able to stretch it to 20. I reckon it'll be between 19 and 20. So realistically, it means that for the medium tyre runners, that if they could get to lap 17, they can one-stop this and go straight onto the hards. And again, if the hard tyre cars run all the way to the bottom of their fuel tanks, they should be able to do 16, 17 laps on the medium at the end. And of course, they will have a slightly lighter car to utilise the mediums with. They will have that little bit of a pace advantage and will wear them out slightly slower. So will the Delta come back in the favour of the cars who opted to start on the hard tyre? Looks like, unless barring a disaster for someone, the softs may not be seen this week, but I say that pretty much every week. And somehow, someone manages to break them out and pull off some bonkers strategy decision. Much reminiscing going on in the comments as well. Yes, straight line speed is a big factor around this circuit, it absolutely is. That long run from the final corner all the way to the front straight, it can be very difficult to get the move to stick if you aren't in a very fast car. There's someone in the pits, that is Ramirez. He's opted to stop, not sure what's going on there. Well, he has opted to come out, so I think he got stuck in the pits back in Fest. He's gone for the mediums and about half a tank of fuel, so an alternate strategy for him. As look at the front tyres on that Genesis, my word. That is of course the downside of of the forward drive cars, is the front tyre wear is pretty bad and the rear tyre wear doesn't come into play very much at all. So taking a look at this, if he's running out of tyre on lap 12, going to be a two-stop. I think that could be that would be a stop at the end of this lap. Yeah, and in comes Smalley then, so he will be going for the 2, and that does throw things into question. Will the two-stop be the favourable one? That's going to be interesting to see. It is quite a long pit lane here in general. Not one you want to be stuck in for too long, as Jamie's having another look at Avi, but he's not committing to anything. And every lap, Ninja Snake does get closer. I mean, the strange difference. Look at that tyre wear on the Nissan. I mean, maybe he's not pushing, but compared to the tyre wear on the also four-wheel drive Genesis, that's a huge difference. That is quite a sizable difference, actually. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't really aware of that being the case between the two cars, as he is now down to almost the canvas. This is going to start hitting puncture territory if he's not careful, and he could end up losing this position to Smalley, who has emerged from the pits in P10, a fresh set of mediums, about 2/3 of a tank of fuel. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out, as he's going to be absolutely flying now as he heads towards, and that is it. That is the front right gone on the Genesis. So just pushed it a lap longer. Can he make it work? Brownski genuinely could have had a shot of winning, seeing the tyres on Hasney. Did bloody not let you sign up? That was mean on him. It's in comes Hasney then on an absolutely ruined set of racing mediums. Ninja Snake on his pretty solid racing hards, and Javi and Jamie of course on their hard tyres, as Jamie comes in as well for 12 laps only on the hard, so he's going for a two-stop as well. He's seen the cars in front and he's thinking that yes, he can make a double medium stint from now on work as well, by the looks of things. Hasnain has only just made it into the pit, so there you go. It's been 24 seconds just to the box. Now he's got to put the fuel in as well, so big losses in the pit lane. If anyone can make that one-stop work, could be beneficial to them. Here comes Junko. He is all over the back of the BMW of Izu 9 now, who has not been able to get past the GTR of Jamie 9 Million. He's going to look down the inside, but he's just not got the straight line speed of that Genesis, and he's going to have to stay behind as they head through the middle sector. Not many opportunities, but as Jamie catches the AstroTurf, as I said, this is so dangerous, manages to rescue it, that four-wheel drive saving him there, but he is going to lose a couple of positions to the cars behind, and that moves these guys provisionally into P3 and P4. As Javi now up to 1.4 seconds behind Solid Ninja Snake, so the gap stabilising a little bit as the tyres do wear out. Looking further down the field, here's CRG Jamie. He's 14 seconds behind Smalley, but it'll be all about the hard tyre stint at the end for these cars. As here we've found Smalley's right behind Hasney. He's getting held up by Diogo, who's out of sync on the strategy. It's going to be a cutback for the Supra driver. Is Hasney on the hards? Yes, he is. So that explains the pace deficit. Hasney going for the hard tyre in the middle stint, hoping to utilise a faster car at the end of the race. And he is, well, I mean, he's on the hards, but he's still getting held up by the Porsche, who runs wide. Smalley just about gets out from behind him as they head up the hill. It's going to be medium versus hard. He's going to bump draft him along the start-finish straight until he gets alongside. It's going to be a drag race, and we're going to try and switch to an external camera that gives us a view. There we go. They go side by side then into turn one. They've got the Porsche for company, but I don't think he's going to get involved now. And Smalley Balls gets it up the inside, and he is going to want to utilise those medium tyres. So that was crucial. He did that within the first lap of being back on track with his rival for the race win, and away he goes. He's now going to try and stretch that gap as much as possible before he has to put the hards on at the end, and Hasnain comes back into it with his mediums. Here's CRG Jamie. He is 12 seconds behind Diogo now. He's obviously already run the hard tyre, so he's going to be flat out to the end. So it could be interesting to see whether he comes back into the race. It's Javi in second, looking like he will be attempting the one stop. He's got to make it to sort of lap 16. Well, I mean, he's got to make it to sort of lap 20 really if he wants a decent shot at maintaining the tyres, because the tyre wear on that GTR looks pretty solid. Although to be fair, Solid Ninja Snake is doing a great job of keeping his tyres in check, and we saw the difference in tyre wear on the hards there. It's huge. So well, we'll have to wait and see whether the difference becomes more pronounced as the race goes on. Gap staying around 1.2 seconds. Both drivers, I think, still just sort of feeling each other out. They're running their own races really at the moment, just looking to get the tyres to last, to allow them to do what they want towards the end of the race. There's no need to go too hard too early on, as Diogo does come in off his hard tyres with 13% fuel left, so he has either got a very long 21 lap stint on mediums to go, or that is a 2-stop for him. 10 and 11 lap stints on the mediums, not too bad at all. Django is just in front of Jamie 9 million, as these cars obviously all yet to stop on their hard tyres. Running line astern, the action sort of calming down a little bit as drivers start to focus on just running their own race, winning their own battles, not getting caught out by racing others. And I say getting caught out as Jamie catches the grass. He has gone for a spot of rallying in his four-wheel drive Nissan, and that has relegated him to P5 and has allowed the BMW of IZ9 back through again. As Jamie's off the circuit again, this is it's been a disastrous lap for him. He just about avoids the wall, but he's going to drop further, about 3 seconds off the back of the BMW. And that is him well out of this battle for the time being. Javi drops back now to 1.7 seconds behind Ninja Snake. So perhaps not quite got the pace in the latter stages of this stint, although the tyre wear, there we go, as I was saying, maybe it would get more pronounced, and it has done indeed. The difference between the two is very noticeable. So Ninja Snake perhaps slightly on the back foot, maybe he's pushing harder at the end of this stint, but as Javi starts to close the gap in again, perhaps it was just a small mistake that opened that gap up, and he has actually got the pace over the purple car in front of him. Looking further back to what were our race leaders early on, Smalley and Hasnain. Hasnain only still less than 3 seconds behind, so not showing too bad pace on the hards at all, and CRG Jamie behind on the mediums isn't really making any inroads. The gap down to 11 seconds, but it was only really at 12 before a couple of laps ago, so he's not making the huge inroads he may have hoped on his medium tyre. That's not necessarily a disaster for him. There is still a long way to go in this race. 20 laps to go. We are on lap 16. 20 laps to go at the end of this one. And to give you a rundown of the field, it is Solid Ninja Snake who leads, yet to stop in the Genesis on the hard tyre. He opted for the hard tyre start. It is CBR_Javi F for in second place, again yet to stop on the racing hard tyre. It's Jut and Go again, no stop so far, opting for the longer first stint, as is Izu9, but he is low on fuel, so we expect him in the next lap or so. It's Jamie 9 Million, we've just witnessed him have a few issues off the circuit, and he is in fifth place. Behind him Smalley, who is technically the net leader at this point, once the first stop has been made for the cars at the front, but obviously it is likely they will not have to stop again, so he is a man on a mission to try and make up as much time as he can over the next couple of stints. But it is looking like a pretty tall order. As I said, it is an extremely long pit lane. Hasnain in P7 again on the 2-stop, but he has opted for the hards in this middle stint, so he'll have a fast car at the end of the race. Not sure it will be fast enough to overhaul anyone at the front, but a podium could be on the cards here, as that's pretty much P3 is the highest that he and Smalley will be fighting for. CRG Jamie, he started to make the inroads I was saying he was lacking. The gap now down to 9.8 seconds. He's in P8 on his medium tyres. He already ran the hard tyre. He went for the hard tyre early on the 2-stop strategy, so a slightly different variant of the strategy that seems to have captured the hearts and minds of most of this grid. He's opted to go for the hard first, and it is going to allow him to have better pace towards the end of this race. It is CBR Ramirez in the other GTR, the third and final GTR on the racing medium. He also opted for hards at the start, and he will be going for 2 quick stints now at the end. Capero on the medium tyre in P10. He was looking good with a couple of great moves and some fast straight line speed, but a couple of mistakes just derailed him a little bit. And then Diogo in the Porsche on the medium tyre as well. In comes Izu9 then. His fuel is down to 2%, so he is forced in, and he may try and do 18 laps on a set of medium tyres, which would be pretty bold, as Ninja Snake is there in P1. He's coming right to the end of his tyre life, so 18 laps on the hards, looking like he may well get to lap 20, but is his fuel going to get him to lap 20? And that is going to be the critical part, because if he can only do 18 laps on a tank of fuel, he's going to have to run the mediums for 18 laps, and that doesn't really look very viable at the moment if the hards are this sort of low towards the end of the stint. There is Javi. He's got plenty of fuel and a little bit more tyre than the Genesis in front of him, so he is looking perfectly good to go another 2 laps at least. And I think I'd be in agreement with the comment section that Javi is certainly looking in a great place to take a victory here. That this we take nothing away from him. He's had a fantastic drive so far, and just complemented by the strength of that GTR that really is looking unstoppable at the moment in the right hands, and the right hands certainly belong to Javi. Juttengo, he is also looking pretty good on fuel. His tyre wear maybe not so much, but I reckon he could just about squeeze it to lap 20 and have a solid charge towards the end of the race. Smalley on his medium tyres now just 14.4 seconds behind the race lead. He probably wants that down to about 10 seconds to have any hope of catching up towards the end of the lap. I mean, obviously, you know, if he pits before the others, he will have an undercut, but I don't think he's going to go for that. He'll probably look to extend over the top of them, go for the overcut and make the most of some fresher tyres towards the end, even if those fresher tyres are racing hards. But there's obviously the mediums running long on the cars at the front. They may well degrade quite heavily. Jeremy 9 Million also running low on fuel. He will likely be in this lap, you'd have thought, especially with tyres in that sort of condition. There is Hasnain in P6, 17.6 seconds behind and chasing down the as yet unstopped GTR. With CRG Jamie 8 seconds behind now, his mediums potentially past their best. He's just got to make them last until around about lap 24 before he can make his second stop for another fresh set of medium tyres to run flat out to the end. Looking at the front then, as Javi's now less than 7 tenths behind Ninja Snake at the front. It's going to be interesting. Will they come into the pits on this lap? I think it's almost certain that Ninja Snake will, looking at that fuel. So that's 19 laps he's managed to make, with quite a bit of fuel saving, I imagine. But it means he's got to do 17 laps on a set of mediums, as Javi does go long. So while Solid Ninja Snake will get the undercut, when he emerges from the pits on his medium tyre, he's going to put more fuel in, and he's going to have to do more laps on it toward the end of the race. And as you've seen, that GTR already has superior tyre wear to the Genesis in the race so far. Let's look then, as CRG Jamie is of course promoted into 5th place, now just 7.1 seconds behind Hasnane, who doesn't look to have too bad pace on the hard. So to be fair, I mean, mid-39s is good pace on those tyres. 40.0 last time out. Let's see where he can make up some time compared to the drivers at the front. Ninja Snake goes obviously for the full tank of fuel and the medium tyre. Smalley Ball's now down to 11 seconds behind. He's managed to overtake Jump Go on the different strategy to him. And as I said, he was looking for about 10 seconds. I think he's going to get pretty close to 10 seconds there. Through we go, there we go, it's down under 10 seconds now. We've got to battle a bit further back, I think. Let's have a look. Yes, it's Kepero and CBR Ramirez. So Ramirez, who is looking, having come out the pits, this is, no, sorry, I'm getting the GTRs mixed up, but having come out the pits there is Ninja Snake, is what I meant. He's behind this battle now, so these cars are pretty close together. He's not going to want to get held up too much by the two cars in front. He's going to want to make sure he can get past nice and quickly. Neither of them due into the pits for a little while just yet, so he's got to do these moves on track. And as we've already found out, that Genesis is not exactly a rocket ship in a straight line, especially not compared to the power of the GTR and the McLaren, as we learned. It's Jungo is in as well. He's down to his 1% and no tyre at all, so 16 laps on the mediums for him. That should be perfectly doable, and a pretty light car to do it as well. And this is the big one then. Javi is in for his pit stop. He will switch onto the medium tyre and will head out on lap 21. 15 to go at the end of this one, with racing mediums and 89 litres of fuel on board. There is Kepero, so he will have to pass one car in the traffic. Will he have to pass another? There is Ninja Snake. It's going to be pretty close, and he is just about in front. No, he's not. Ninja Snake, he's going to go side by side in turn 4, dives on the brakes. The car pitches forwards as he stamps all of the load through that brake pedal and stops the car short of smashing into the side of the purple Genesis. So he's got to get that move done on track then. And both cars on the medium tyre. This again then is the crucial one. This is Hasnain, who has about a quarter of a tank of fuel left, so another 5 laps or so we can do a short final stint. And Smalley, who will be on the hard tyre towards the end, and he has pretty much got free licence to do that whenever he wants. As long as he does 9 laps on the tyre, he can come in whenever he likes. It's just what's going to work best for him. As he does run wide through turn 3. He did actually come off the inside of that curb. I don't know if that's going to earn him a penalty. Not quite. He escapes, gets away with one for now. But his fuel light is on, so it's within the next couple of laps he's going to be coming in and making the switch on to the mandatory hard compound of tyre. Bernstein then will assume the lead once that happens. but he will of course have to stop again. Jamie in a similar boat, currently P3, he'll have to stop too. Kepler, Ramirez, Ninja Snake, the first of the cars who have completed their strategy. And I wonder how long it will be first of the cars who've completed their strategy, as Javi is looking all over the back of that Genesis, not yet in a position to make a move through the left-hander, and now up the hill towards the double right, and there is a bit of traffic in front. Ramirez and Kepler. Ninja Snake on his medium tyre has not really made any sort of inroads on those cars in front, to be fair. I don't know whether he's intentionally trying to pick up a toe or if he's just not quite got the pace now. With a slightly heavier car. As Smalley is in then, 5% fuel remains at the end of this lap, and he will be in for a set of hard tyres. 14 laps he's got to do on those. He's going to have a pretty hard time to make any sort of aggressive manoeuvres on that set. He is. There he is. He's at the box then, and will be filled with fuel. Ninja Snake maybe tyre saving potentially. I think looking at his brake input maybe a bit. I in some ways can see the value of it. Whether it's just sort of going to entice Javi into a move that compromises them both. That's my thing. I think Barrison said a similar thing. We'll see how this plays out. Obviously the cars in front have to stop, so in terms of overtaking them he doesn't really need to worry, but in terms of track position, dirty air and things like that, not getting caught up in incidents, it may well be important. Red light is on for Jamie, so he will be in either the end of this lap or the next one for what could be either a 13 or 12 lap stint on the medium tyres. His final stop of the race, and he will then just be able to go absolutely flat out to the end, try and make back as many positions as he can. Hasnain probably also has only a few laps left to go. His light's on as well then, so similar situation, 2 laps before he switches back to the medium tyre for a last blast to try and overtake as many cars as he can. Looking at the gaps, Javi 31.1 seconds behind. Ninja Snake looking up the inside of Ramirez. I think Ramirez made a mistake there. I think he ran a little bit wide, and yeah, that is through from the Genesis, and Ramirez will in fact come into the pits then, as Javi again just sits behind solid Ninja Snake, not making any moves for now. Nine in P6 on his medium tyre. He will have to stop again, I imagine. It would be a very impressive feat to do 12 laps on that amount of fuel and that amount of tyre, but you never know. Smalley there on the hards. He is actually, I don't think he's just passed, or if he's under pressure from Diogo in the Porsche. Either way, traffic is not what he needs right now. Here comes Hasnain. Did a good job of preserving those hards and putting in some pretty consistent lap times, some fast and consistent lap times while he does it. So let's see where he comes out in all of this. Again, similar from Jamie. Yeah, a bit of an off lap there on a 41.31 lap, but the rest of them pretty solid, pretty quick, pretty consistent. Obviously, as those mediums wear out, they really wear out, and you know about it. He will do another 12 lap stint, so obviously running out of pace at the end of the stints, but enough at the start to keep everything sort of worthwhile for him. As Ninja Snake now on the back of Kepler, he's going to want to make this move fairly quickly. Kepler a bit wide, but he's going to be able to utilise all the power of that McLaren as they head along the start-finish straight, right on board with Javi. He's got the best view of this battle. Is Kepler going to make a move into the pits? No, so it's going to be Ninja Snake who needs to make the move on the circuit right now in the slipstream. And now this becomes a battle for what is the current lead. Will it be the lead come the end of the race? Can those on the two-stop make any sort of inroads at all? Hasnain is out on his mediums with 75% fuel. That means he's just coming down the pit lane. Yep, there he is. So we'll see what the gap is like when he emerges. Lift and coast from Javi. He's in the slipstream. He doesn't need to do anything silly just yet. Caparo runs a little bit wide. It's going to open up the door for Ninja Snake, who's going to head side by side with him through turn 5. But that really compromised his exit, having to turn tight through there. Again, another lift and coast from Javi. He is not taking any risks at all. He's going to wait for this to play out in front of him and just get the move done in his own time. Into the middle sector. Doors half opening for all the drivers, really. There's no clear-cut chances through this middle sector. It takes either a brave move or a stupid move to get something done around this part of the track. And none of the three drivers are willing to do either of those options. So we remain as it stands with Kepler, Ninja Snake and Javi in the top three. Now we head back to the start-finish straight, back to the start of the lap. Can the four-wheel drive provide the exit he needs to overcome the straight line speed of the McLaren? Doesn't look like it is. Looking pretty much like a stalemate in a straight line. I think McLaren may well actually be pulling away. It is. Looking at the delta there, look at that, it's pulling away by hundreds in a straight line despite the slipstream, and while he may be fuel saving as well, it's nothing he can really do. But it's wide from the McLaren driver, but a little bit too wide from the Genesis driver to try and take advantage. He's going to go for a sort of cutback, tucked into the slipstream. Has he managed to get close enough? This could be the moment. He may just have to go for it, try and get up the inside. He doesn't. He opts to stick behind another lap, as Caparo just does go a little bit wide. And despite the fact he's not in this race for the win, he has certainly got himself involved in the battle. His tyres are absolutely gone. He'll be switching to a fresh set. Maybe he'll be the person to bring out the softs, despite the fact I said they wouldn't be used. And now that has left Javi versus Solid as the battle for the victory right now. Looking further back, the cars on the two-stop are at the forefront of the two-stop. Smalley, who's 9 seconds off the lead, but obviously that gap will continue to grow as he runs on his hard tyre. It is a fresh hard tyre compared to the mediums, but I don't think that's going to really help too much. And then Hasnain, who was about 2 seconds behind. Can he overcome Smalley and take what looks to be a final podium position when all of the strategy options are shaken out? Here comes Javi then. That superior straight line speed is going to have him alongside by the braking zone, I'm fairly sure. Can he get close enough? He's taking tenths out of him in a straight line. Sort of a half defence from Ninja Snake. Puts his car in the middle of the track. It's very clever. Javi goes for the wide line. He takes the lift and coast option again. Takes the wide line, trying to get the slingshot through turn 3. A little bit wide again from Ninja Snake as they head down the back straight towards turn 4. Again, getting closer and closer, but I think he's just playing this smart. He's got 9 laps to go, and it's effectively looking like he can pass him whenever he likes right now. There's no point breaking it and going too early. It's almost like a MotoGP race. This is just waiting for the right moment to make the overtake, and not giving the opposition any chance to fight back. Caparo, there he goes for the soft tyre, despite the fact that I said at the start no one will be using the softs this week, but someone always proves me wrong, and that is Caparo. So he will be going for an extremely aggressive final stint. No idea how that's going to work out for him, considering the gap he's got in front of him. He may well pass Jamie in P7 possibly, but don't know about that one. He may get the fastest lap though, which is of course worth an extra point. Here comes Javi again, 7 tenths behind now, so not letting him get too far away, but just managing the gap from P2. He's got a great exit out of there though. Ninja Snake was a little bit wide, and Javi absolutely drilled it, heading up the hill. Under 4 tenths, the gap under 3 tenths now as he heads towards the first corner. Half a defence from Ninja Snake again, but I don't know if he needs to do this. You know, I think he's just compromising himself and it probably his tyres too. By going defensive from a driver that doesn't really have any intention to make a pass. Looking further back, this is the battle for P3 then, the final podium position as it stands. It is Hasnain on his mediums against Smalley on his hards. And Smalley again showing he's got some great pace, but just not quite got the strategy right. The strategic thinking in Gran Turismo is just a little bit different to that in Formula 1. The way the tyres behave, and the way that the pit stops can just be so long in some places and practically instant at others, really does make the brain a little bit frazzled when you're trying to work out what the best strategy is. But that is why these are some of the best drivers on GT7 in the private league racing scene anyway. They certainly are committed to this in an area of league racing where perhaps the commitment and the practice schedules have rather gone out the window, and lots of leagues have become turn up and drive. This one certainly is not. This really does have a pretty avid following of drivers who practice and make sure they've got everything lined up for their races. As they in a sort of fuel saving mode, I'm just going to check. Here we go. I was just going to say I saw on the minimap that I thought maybe the battle for the lead may well have been heating up, and indeed it is. The straight line speed of the GTR has allowed Javi to just breeze past. I mean, that's incredible as Ninja Snake is going to take a look, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it back. He's going to possibly have a go as they head towards turn 4, but look, he just doesn't have the drive. Car's understeering through turn 3, and by the time they get out onto the back straight, even with the slipstream, there's nothing doing, and I think that may well be the move that secures Javi the victory potentially here. We're trying to avoid any commentator's curse, but he is looking pretty bulletproof right now. Ninja Snake's coming back at him, mind you. Up the hill towards turn 6, there's nowhere to go. You park your car in the middle of the circuit, there's not a car's width either side. Through turn 6 and 7 for the switch back. When I try to switch to an outside view, there we go. This is the battle for the lead. Ninja Snake and Javi putting on a great show right now, each looking for their first victory in the top tier. And what a victory it would be for both of them. Hasnain has in fact bested Smalley in the Supra for P3. So it's currently a double podium for the purple cars. And apologies, we nearly missed the overtake for the lead as I was following the battle for third place. It's as they head up the hill now, can Ninja Snake conjure anything from his sizably underpowered Genesis versus the straight line speed of the GTR? And I don't think he is, and I think that may well be game there. I think he's really going to struggle to make anything back unless something disastrous happens to Javi, or a tyre, sort of total tyre degradation or failure. Hasnain has pulled 1.1 seconds on Smalley, so that battle for P3 is seems to be done and dusted with Smalley on the hards. And in fact, worth noting, Junko on the medium tyre, only 2.6 seconds behind. Let's not rule Junko out of cracking a top 4 finish here. I mean, top 5 is a fantastic result for him anyway, a strategic mastermind yet again. CRG Jamie, not really been his day. P6 at the moment on his alteration on the 2-stop strategy. Not quite come together. And he's looking, well, he did have the fastest lap previously. Kepler, of course, on the soft tyre has beaten that by some margin. That's for 37.9 now. That fastest lap, half a second quicker than what Jamie had managed. And can he make a challenge for that top 5 or maybe even top 4 position? Certainly got the fresher tyres over the Genesis in front of him, but we'll have to see whether he can utilise that again for the umpteenth time in that 2-wheel drive car versus the 4-wheel drives. Of course, Smalley not doing too bad in his 2-wheel drive car, but he does have 4-wheel drive cars all around him for company as he gets a little bit wide onto the dirt through there. Sometimes that aids your exit, sometimes it doesn't. I think on this occasion it's not helped him at all. Junko pulls another 2 tenths into him. into turn 1 they come. That's a nice camera angle that, as we can see all the stream of cars coming down the start-finish straight. Through turn 3 for the Toyota driver, being chased down by Jump and Go in his Genesis. The gap now just 2 seconds between Jamie and John for P5. Can he make that move? 2 seconds in 5 laps and an overtake. And while that Supra is not that quick in a straight line, it's probably faster than the Genesis has proved to be so far. Caparo picked up a penalty, I think, last lap. He's served that one, now he's back up to full racing speed in P8. He'll be picking up an extra point for the fastest lap, unless someone goes for something to try and steal it back. Eisenstein and Ramirez, well, I thought they were side by side. They appear to have lagged back apart again. But a close battle for the penultimate and final points paying positions. Can Eisenstein secure an extra point? Take it away from Ramirez, not on this occasion. Can he cut back under the inside on the exit of turn 4 through turn 5? They're going to run side by side up the hill. Ramirez concedes the position for now, but he will have the inside line into turn 6. They're banging wheels almost round the outside. Can he hold on to it? He's going to just keep it pinned wide open. Absolute faith in his machine. But for now, he tries the switch back, but there's almost no space through there. He's going to try again, take the wider line and try and get the exit into the next corner. He's got to be very careful he doesn't do a Lewis Hamilton on Alex Albon style move and just clean out the inside rear corner of the car in front. But concedes back to P10 for now, but I'm sure that will not be the end of his attempts to take the position from the German driver in front. Back up the hill again as it's wide from both, and Isaac gets well on the grass and he's lost the rear end, and that has promoted Diogo into P10. That's a rear wheel drive car just getting slightly caught on the exit of the curb, just drifting off, and unfortunately he will concede and drop out of the points. He's got 2 seconds to make back up if he does want to score a point this evening, and that could be interesting. Doing a bit of weaving to clear those tyres off. He'll be a bit slow for the next couple of corners. Very slow for the next couple of corners, my word. He nearly drops it just entering turn 1, but he'll get back up to speed and try and chase down that Porsche. Back at the front, Javi's opened up to 1.5 seconds. He is looking pretty comfortable. My only concern will be the tyre wear on the front of that Nissan, but then again, it's an even worse situation for the Genesis. It's Hasnain in P3. 5 seconds now clear of Smalley and 5 seconds behind Ninja Snake. He will be pretty satisfied with that, I think. You know, obviously taken pole position, he'd like to win, but opting for the 2-stop strategy over the 1, which in my view, knowing Hasnain as a driver, is fairly surprising. I'd have thought he'd have opted for that 1-stop strategy, but the split strategies for the purple Genesis cars in this race has paid dividends in terms of podium positions. It hasn't quite paid off in terms of the pace to win, but maybe that was never there in the first place, and they did just have to accept that the GTR and Javi, that combination of driver and car around this circuit, was just too much for them to handle. Smalley now under a lot of pressure from John, despite the fact that his tyres are almost absolutely shot. He is going to go all in to try and take P4 from the driver in front of him, and then hold on to it from the driver behind him. He's in a converging sandwich of Toyota Supras, but he is going to try and fight his way out of it. I have no doubt about that. He's just going to make sure he holds on just enough tread on those medium tyres on the front of his car to make it to the end. But even if he doesn't, it's been a valiant effort nonetheless. Six tenths through the middle. Six tenths again through, and it's not really close enough for him to make a real assault, I don't think, unless he gets a killer exit out of this final corner. But the earlier he gets from the power, the more strain he puts to those front tyres, but he might have just done so, actually. I mean, obviously on the hard tyre for Smalley is not helping him really anywhere. I mean, the pace, the pure pace of his Supra is pretty good, but it's when you're not getting the exit, you can't get the power down. This is what's going to happen. He's going to come under pressure from the Genesis, the Bleeding Edge Margarita Motorsports number 77 Genesis Gently G7, or G70, whatever it's called, through turn 2 and turn 3. He's right up behind him now. The gap's already under 3/10 as they head along the back straight. Going defensive already is Smalley. Obviously John not opting to follow him into the slipstream, deciding it's just not worth it. Trying to hold on to those tyres. You can see that slightly tentative braking. He's going to try and save this to the last minute, you feel. He doesn't want to use up all his tyre with 2 laps to go. And you feel that if as he's gone wide, has the Toyota driver, there's a lot of understeer there. Oh, he tries to squeeze him back through, and now here comes CRG Jamie. Can he get up the inside of Smalley? And indeed John. Smalley's forced to the inside, and that is going to allow the Welshman through, as well as Smalley gets a huge kick of oversteer through there. And now this is the battle for P4. Will Jamie be able to overcome the Genesis in the position at the moment? You'd imagine he would, with that tyre wear situation on the four-wheel drive car. It's been a valiant effort from all 3 of these drivers to recover back into obviously 2 stopping and then the 1 stop from John, which has paid off hugely for him into P4. But I don't know if those tyres are going to last the distance. And I think Smalley may have to resign to P5 at best at this point. With the hard tyre and the fact that Jamie's now in front of him, I think Jump and Go will be falling off the cliff on those worn medium tyres. As round the outside goes Jamie, which becomes the inside for turn 2, and he has got that one nailed. He is absolutely, he's judged it to perfection. He's not gone too deep. He's taken advantage of the tyre situation on the Genesis, but will he be able to hold him off as the Genesis is coming back at him, as John's attempting to hold on to this position for all it's worth? I don't know how he's going to do another lap and a half on that amount of front tyre. He's going to be driving around on rims by the end of this race, but he's giving it everything because he's really got nothing to lose. I mean, there's only 1 car within another 20 seconds of him, so realistically, even if the tyres do let go, it's going to be P7 anyway, which is still a pretty solid result nonetheless. Smalley looking at the inside. Jamie not really pulling away just yet, but I think he'll just start to eke that gap out as the lap progresses. There you go. You can see the wobble as the chronic understeer starts to take hold in the Genesis. I mean, John's doing a fantastic job of making that car extremely wide. He's doing everything he can to just park it in the middle of the circuit. There's not a car's width either side. But now the tyres they're going to give away at some point, and I think he's 2.5 seconds off his personal best. I think they're going to scream for mercy, really. I think it's only a matter of time before Smalley can get past. I mean, he's right tucked under the rear wing now. So they head along the front straight once again. On the penultimate lap, he's going to run outside. The only question mark for Smalley, of course, is has he got enough fuel? His red light is flashing. He should make it to the end, as long as he doesn't do anything too extreme. There is no front tyre left on that Genesis. It is completely red, and yet somehow he's got back up the inside, and he's held on to P5. He's going to be through the long left-hander at turn 3. This is astonishing driving from John, with absolutely nothing left on the front tyre. He's opted not to go defensive. Will he look for the inside line through into turn 6 and 7? Will he go for a cutback? He's going through the left-hander. Is that finally the moment that he concedes defeat and will take P6? I don't think he's going to lose the 11 seconds back to Jamie 9 million. I think it'll be P6 for him in the end if he can't make the move back into P5. It's but Smalley, obviously, he's got barely any fuel left. I mean, neither does John, to be fair. Smalley goes a little bit wide. He doesn't want to pick up a penalty now. That would be absolute disaster for him. I think, though, he may have just about held on to that, and despite some incredibly valiant efforts from John, he will have to concede back to P6 with nothing left on the front tyre. He's driving around on canvas and rims. I'm not sure about that. As we head back towards the front, just checking, yeah, that is a position conceded. We are going to watch Javi come across the line to win his first ever PSGL GT race. He's been there or thereabouts before. Javi is victorious at Interlagos. It's going to be solid. Ninja Sneaker comes home in P2. Hasdane will take P3. It will be CRG Jamie who eventually takes P4. Not the result he may have hoped for, but a valiant drive nonetheless. Smalley is P5, John comes home in P6, and then we wait for the rest of the field. It is Jamie in P7. Kepero will take home P8. And we've got Ramirez and Diogo, who are going to battle all the way to the line. Isaac back out of the points to that mistake he's not been able to recover from. Can the Porsche battle back to take P9? It's not been an easy race for any of these guys towards the back of the field, but they have done a brilliant job of not giving in, not quitting, and still remain within 50 seconds of the victory, which, to be honest, is not too bad at all in 36 laps. Is nothing to be upset by, really, as IG9 does come across the line in P11, a minute behind the win. But again, as I said, it's a competitive field, and if you have a couple of mistakes, that can happen. And in the end, it is your winner, CBR Habiev from Solid Ninja Snake and Hasnain 282. Hasnain will extend his championship lead, I do believe. He will indeed, over CRG Jamie, who came home in P4. Big result for Javi, though, who, after missing last week's race, will move up into fourth, I believe. Which is not too bad for him at all. There you are, confirmation then. That is Javi Furman, your winner at Interlagos for round 3 of the PSGL GT Constructors Challenge. We head, of course, next week. We remain in the Americas, but we head north to Road Atlanta, the newest addition to the GT track list, which should be certainly very interesting. 41 laps of the iconic US circuit, a favourite, of course, in Petit Le Mans, the American Le Mans series, a variety of touring car series. That will be intriguing to see how the cars fare around there. Four-wheel drive, again, likely to be the favourite, but as we saw from some solid performances from the two-wheel drive cars, it's not necessarily a given. And then after that race, it will be another break. 2 rounds and then a break is the order of proceedings for this season, to keep things fresh, to avoid people burning out on things. We will, once again, not go ahead with any interviews or anything like that to avoid any technical difficulties and unnecessary waiting. We will just call it a day there. Congratulations to Javi, Solid Ninja Snake and Hasnain for the podium, and I will see you, hopefully it'll be me. I imagine it will be me, just by myself again. Hopefully I'll have a commentator alongside me next time. But thank you very much everyone for watching. I've been your commentator, Harry H. Racing Green. This has been the PSGL GT Constructors Challenge. Tune in tomorrow. PC F1 does of course return to your screens once again. But until next week, thank you very much and goodbye.